and we've taught that there are 3 different ways to write ratios. And that ratios really connect to the whole world. They're very real world applicable. So, I want us to watch this short video, and in the video I want you to listen for the ratio that's mentioned. And in the end, after the video is over with, we'll come together and discuss what the ratio is and how it applies to the real world. Okay? Does it have for half?
Citizens.
Well, I'll be running along now. Bye, Andy. Bye, Opie. Bye.
Bye. Well, if it ain't Charlie Moneybags, the big philanthropist. How do you do?
What you talking about, Pa?
I'm talking about the underprivileged children's drive.
Oh, they collected for that at school, Pa.
Oh, I know they did. Oh, I know they did. And when they called your name, you gave the large, generous amount of 3 cents. My, that was big of you, Diamond Jim.
Wasn't I giving too much, Pa?
Too much.
I could ask them to give back 2 cents.
Yeah, we better talk about this thing. Now, look here, Opie, you can't give a little bitty piddling amount like 3 cents to a worthy cause like the underprivileged children's drive. I was reading here just the other day where there's somewhere like 400 needy boys in this county alone, or 1.5 boys per square mile.
There is?
It sure is.
I never seen one, Pa.
Never seen one what?
A half boy.
Well, it's not really a half a boy, it's a ratio.
Horatio who?
Not whole ratio, a ratio. It's mathematics, arithmetic. Look now, Opie, just forget that part of it. Forget the part about the half a boy.
It's pretty hard to forget a thing like that, Pa. Poor Horatio.
Now, look, Horatio is not the only needy boy.
Okay, so turn to each other and discuss the ratio that was mentioned in the video. Do y'all remember what the comparison of the 2 numbers? He said there was 1.5 boys per square mile. So that was a comparison between 2 numbers, a half boy and a square mile. However, he said it was a ratio, but it's really something called a unit rate, and that's what we're going to discuss today. How that's a ratio, but it's really a unit rate, and that's simply just a special kind of ratio. Okay? So, we need to discuss our standards. The first standard that we're going to cover is understand the concept of a ratio and use ratio language to describe a ratio relationship between 2 quantities. So know what a ratio is and be able to use the ratio and use the language to describe the ratio. So our other standard is understand the concept of a unit rate associated with a ratio and use rate language in the context of a ratio relationship. So know that a rate is really a ratio and be able to use rate language to describe that relationship between the 2 numbers. Our central question is, what are ratios? How do ratios relate to rates? And how are rates and unit rates applicable to the real world? So we're going to dig in and find not just what are rates and what are ratios, but know how they apply to the real world. And our lesson objectives, what you'll master by the end of today, is the student will be able to use ratio language to describe a relationship in all 3 ways with 100% accuracy on the M&M activity. And then the student will be able to use rate language in the context of a ratio relationship on real-world examples with 75% accuracy on the envelope activity. So, you're going to be able to use ratios and rates, and you'll master it, okay? So first, let's review ratios. We know that ratios are a comparison of 2 numbers. We've already talked about that. In case you don't remember, it's just a comparison of 2 numbers, and there's 3 ways to write ratios. And if you look on your graphic organizer, you can follow along with me. On the left side, it says there's 3 ways. We can write it with a colon, which is the dot, kind of like what's used in time. We can write it with the word 2, or we can write it as a fraction, which is a number over a number. Okay? So we can use ratios in our classroom, in ours. So we know in our classroom there are 3 girls to 1 boy. There's 4 in total, but there's 3 girls and 1 boy. So to write that ratio, we would say 3:1, 3 girls to 1 boy, or we could say 3:1, so 3 girls to 1 boy, or we could say 3/1. That's the fraction form. 3 girls to 1 boy. Notice the colon, the 2, or the fraction line just means 2. That's how you're going to write the ratio. Now we've already discussed that, so you already know how to do that. So we're going to do a quick M&M activity. I'm going to give you a packet of M&Ms, and I want you to tell me, you're going to find the ratio of brown M&Ms to red M&Ms. So first, since this is a review, you're just going to count the number of brown M&Ms in your pack. Go ahead and open your pack and count the number of brown M&Ms to the number of red M&Ms. Can somebody tell me the ratio I'm looking for? The number of what color M&Ms?
Brown.
To the number of?
Red.
Yes. So go ahead and open your pack, and once you get your ratio, write it down in the 3 ways. The number of brown M&Ms to the number of red M&Ms. And write that with the colon, with the word 2, and as a fraction. Because we've already discussed this is just a review.
Does it matter where we write it?
No, sir. Just on your graphic organizer up under the Your Turn M&M activity. Very good, Katie. You got it. Well, y'all were opposites. He doesn't have any bread. So, looking at, he has 2 to 0, you have 2 to 3, and you have 3 to 2. So, not every pack of M&Ms is the same. But you were able to write the ratio, and that's what's important. And so, if you were to put this in context, you would say the ratio of red or brown to red M&Ms was 2 to 0, 2 to 3, or 3 to 2. Okay? You got the ratio part down, but I want to focus on a special kind of ratios, and those are rates. A rate is just a special kind of ratio that compares 2 numbers with different units. And by units, I mean it can be time, it can be miles, it can be Skittles, it can be M&Ms, it doesn't matter. Units are really anything. So a rate is a ratio comparing 2 numbers with different units. For example, we have a car travels 100 miles in 2 hours. So the rate for this, to write this as a ratio, we would say 100 miles for 2 hours. That's how we write a rate. It's a ratio, but it includes units. You write the miles in the hours. Do you understand, Paul, what a rate is? It's just a ratio with units.
How do you determine if you just put one over the other, or does it
Well,
matter?
in this case, it doesn't matter. Where it does matter, thank you for leading me to the next example. Where it does matter is unit rate. And a unit rate, that's our next definition. A unit rate is a rate, it's a type of rate or a type of ratio that's in lowest terms. It means the denominator is 1. And this is where it matters, where you put what number where. So in this case, we say a car travels 100 miles in 2 hours. It's not listed, but I want you to find how many miles per hour does the car drive. So in order to do that, if I want to know the miles per hour, you want the hour on the bottom. Per hour, so we do 100 miles per 2 hours. So to find the unit rate, we have to make the bottom number 1. And we already know how to reduce fractions. We take the denominator and divide it by itself. 2 divided by 2 is
1.
Exactly. And then whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 100 divided by 2 is?
50.
Very good, Katie. So our unit rate is 50 miles per hour. Okay? That's how we do the unit rate. You take the rate that's given, reduce it so the bottom number is 1. That's the whole purpose of a unit rate, is to make the denominator 1. Okay? So you can even do this with this example with the cookies. If we want to find the unit rate in this example, we want to find the price per cookie. We would put the price over the cookies, the 13 count, and reduce it. Okay? And we don't have time to do this example because I really want you to do this envelope example. I've already did these for you. So each person's envelope has a special problem that I know you can do and I know would apply to your real life. So we know that rates can be applicable to the real world. I want you to open up the problem and find the unit rate for me. Take just a minute, about 1 or 2 minutes, to find the unit rate, and if you can, I want you to tell me the context. Tell me, okay, well, like in this case, it's miles per hour, so I travel 50 miles in 1 hour. So put words to it. Just take about 2 minutes to complete that activity. And if you have any questions, I'm right here to help you. And this is a bring your own device classroom, so if you need to use your cell phone as a calculator, you are most certainly welcome to. Yes, Paul.
So would that be correct where I would put my ratios for miles per gallon?
Yes, that's exactly right. Because per gallon, you need to put the gallons. Very good, Paul. Nicole, do you understand?
Yes, but is it okay if we come out with a decimal?
Yes, that's certainly okay. Because in this case, it might not be, it's kind of like an average, if that makes sense. So it's okay to have a decimal.
Okay.
So you just want to
Because I
keep
didn't
on
know if we
dividing
wanted-
until you get 1 on the bottom. Right? Very good. So have you ever written a book? On this example you have. And each chapter, very good, had 3,200 words per chapter. You did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Very good. So you did 6.25 strikeouts per game, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that good? So?
Yeah, it's average, maybe. Depends on the pitcher.
And it looks like your motorcycle gets 36 miles per gallon. That seems to be pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Better than my truck.
So, let's conclude and let's come together and talk about what exactly was a unit rate. We know that ratios are just comparisons between numbers, yeah? So what's the difference between a ratio and a rate? Katie, can you tell me that?
The rate is the ratio with unit.
Very, very good. Absolutely. And Nicole, can you tell me what's the big deal about a unit rate? What makes it different than the ratio and rate?
You want the denominator to be 1.
Very, very good. That's exactly right. And what's kind of a keyword that we can look for with unit rates, Paul? If it's asking so many what, blank what?
Per?
Very good, Paul. So, can somebody tell me, going back to our video in the beginning, he said that there was 1.5 boys per square mile. Is that a ratio or is that a special kind of ratio? And what would that special kind of ratio be called?
That was a unit rate.
Yes, very good. Because he said 1.5 boys per square mile. So it was a ratio, but in fact it was a special kind of ratio that we have discovered is called a unit rate. You got it? Very good today.
Perfect.
Let's go.
job for them.